Hello, everybody. I'm here to talk about one of the 20th century linguists, Leonard Bloomfield. There he is. He was an American philologist and linguist who led the development of structural linguistics in the United States during the 30s and the 40s. Yes. Leonard Bloomfield founded American structuralism based on structural linguistics developed by Saussure. He also developed works in morphology and syntax. He was actually the main founder of the Linguistic Society of the United States. His primary concern was to establish linguistics as a science, yes? So, for that reason, he specialized in European linguistic currents, especially in the comparative method that he applied to Amerindian languages. Yes. He also worked at the University of Wisconsin. He studied there and he takes some courses in German and Germanic philology. This was a little bit of his biography. Well, let's see some of his contributions. Yes. We have to know that Bloomfield's importance in the field of modern linguistics is mainly due to his theoretical positions. Yes. Bloomfield's, for example, earliest work was in historical Germanic studies, beginning with his dissertation and continuing with a number of papers on Indo-European and Germanic phonology and morphology. Yes, he also emphasized the neo-grammarian principle of regular sound change as a foundational concept in historical linguistics. But we have to mention that his famous work was Language, that was published in 1933 as a revision of his introduction to the study of language. There we can see that he describes the state of linguistics at that time. Yes. The book adopts the psychological framework of Watson's behavioral school and rejects the postulation of everything that was not directly observable for linguistic analysis. Yes. In this work, he argued that linguistics needs to be more objective if it is to become a real science discipline. Yes. Bloomfield started from two positions. Let's see. The first one was mentalism, that is, linguistic facts must be interpreted and understood with reference to physical phenomena. And the second one was mechanism, which refers to machine learning, follow the behavioral trend. He was interested in the system, language, and not in particular manifestations of language, speech. Let's see a little bit of his approach. Yes. His approach, which focused on methodology, yes, was the dominant force in American linguists from the 30s until the mid-50s. Yes. The second one we have to mention is meaning. Meaning played little part in this enterprise, and the analytical methods or discovery procedures that were developed or include meaning as far as possible. Bloomfield's structuralism became increasingly algebraic in orientation from the end of the Second World War and focused increasingly on syntax. Yes. Well, let's see a little bit of this. His view in the acquisition of language. Yes. For Bloomfield, children acquire language mechanically by repetition, let's say, through stimuli and responses. He has a mechanistic behavioral position regarding language acquisition. Yes. To add more, according to this author, the diversity of human behavior is due exclusively to the fact that the human body is highly complex. Actions are part of cause-effect sequences. A stimulus, thus understood, can give multiple responses or consequences, but all predictable. Yes. Well, basically, his objective was to describe the system of concepts to the synchronic form of language. Bloomfield did not study the language as a whole. He only studied part of the system. Yes. Well, that was a little bit about Leonard Bloomfield. Yes. So we have to thank Bloomfield because his work helped to establish linguistics as an independent scientific discipline. Yes. So for that reason, we thank Bloomfield to his contributions to the field of linguistics.